Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had a great holiday season, and I hope you're all looking forward to this year as much as I am. So, that being said, today I wanted to discuss, everything that I'm looking forward to this year in terms of media, because it's more than just movies and TV shows, and also what my plans are for the channel for the rest of the year. So, let's get into it. So, from, this time to that time, we're going to be discussing everything I'm anticipating. And then from this time to this time, we're going to be looking at my roadmap for the channel. So yeah, let's get into it. Firstly, I'm looking at 10 movies that I'm anticipating for 2021. Now, these are in no particular order. I'm just gonna point them out at random. So yeah, we're gonna get into that. And, there are some movies that I've left out because there's just too many for this list. And there's a lot more movies out this year because quite a few of the movies on this list were actually meant to be released last year and they got pushed back to this year because of the pandemic. So let's get into it. Firstly, Morbius. This is the second movie in Sony's Marvel universe. Their first movie was Venom. I thought Venom was okay, I'm not really a fan of it. It is entertaining, but it's not necessarily good. Morbius focuses on a man who, becomes like a vampire, which is cool. And, this is a real vampire, not those discount vampires from Twilight. And this character is being played by Jared Leto. And Morbius was supposed to be in a deleted ending, I believe, from the first Blade movie, and we never got to see him. We never got to see him in that, or even the two sequels that followed, so it'll be nice to have him make his debut. Also, the best part about this movie is that Vulture, who's played by Michael Keaton in Spider-Man Homecoming, is in this movie, and this could lead to a lot of possibilities. It could be possible that because of the multiverse from Spider-Man Far From Home, this universe and the MCU are connected. And while Venom definitely had some horror undertones in its first act, they were pretty much thrown out the window from the second act onwards. This movie does feel like it'll be a little bit more scary. So with all of that, it's gonna be exciting. I know the Venom sequel, Let There Be Carnage, is coming out this year as well, but I don't know how that's gonna turn out. Next up is Candyman. This is the direct sequel to the original Candyman, ignoring the two sequels. I love the original Candyman. I do not like the sequels. I think this is going to be something amazing. It's produced by Jordan Peele. Tony Todd is returning in some capacity. I think he's going to play the Candyman. But the main character is the child from the very first Candyman movie. He's all grown up now, and I'm really interested to see what this movie does and where it takes that character. Next up is Halloween Kills. This is the 12th movie in the Halloween franchise and the sequel to Halloween 2018, which I think was a phenomenal return to form for the Halloween franchise. I'm interested to see where this movie takes the story and the characters, and we've got a couple of characters from the original Halloween returning to reprise their roles, like the kids. Some of the kids are grown up now, and that'll be interesting. Next up is Spiral. This is the 9th movie in the Saw franchise. It's a spin-off, and Chris Rock is starring, co-writing, and executive producing, so that'll be interesting. And Darren Bousman is returning to direct. He directed Saw 2, 3, and 4, and according to him, this movie will feature the biggest Saw trap in the franchise. This also has a lot of opportunity for reinvention of the franchise. Chris Rock obviously has a unique vision for Saw, and I can't wait to see that on screen. Next up is Mortal Kombat. Now, I am a little bit worried about this movie because we've gotten very little promotion for it, and it's scheduled to be released in April. We've gotten a teaser poster, no official posters, no trailers, nothing. So that actually terrifies me a bit. It's like the studio is just sending the movie out to just die. They're not confident in it. James Wan is on board to produce the reboot, and Simon McQuoid is set to direct. this is his directorial debut, so whether or not he's a good choice is up for debate. So yeah, with all of that being said, this could be a gigantic flop or a huge surprise. We are gonna get to see, you know, the bloody on-screen fatalities from the video games for the first time. The previous movies haven't done that. You know, they were strictly PG-13. Putting the fatalities aside, I really enjoyed the first movie. I think it's the best video game adaptation of all time. The second movie, Annihilation, let's not talk about that. And I have, you know, played a few of the games, and the few that I've played are pretty cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but I'm a bit nervous. Next up is Fast and the Furious 9. This is going to be exciting because John Cena's in it, he's playing Dominic Toretto's brother, the action is going to be crazy. Justin Lin is returning to direct. He's not my favorite Fast and Furious director, but he is a good director when it comes to action. And Han is returning. If you've seen the trailers, I don't know how that's possible, but the movie has to explain that. I wasn't a huge fan of Fast and the Furious until the fifth one came around and they shifted away from the racing and focused more on the action because, you know, I love action when it's over the top to the point of being somewhat cartoonish. That's what these movies go for. They don't take themselves too seriously and they're a lot of fun. They're a blast, especially if you pay to see them in theaters. So yeah, that'll be exciting. Next up is the untitled SpiderMan sequel to Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, there's a lot to take in when it comes to this movie. Far From Home had a huge post-credits scene, kind of cliffhanger, you know, and then it had another one with Nick Fury. You know where he is if you've seen the movie. And there's all these reports and rumors about the previous Spider-Man actors coming back. You know, Andrew Garfield and my favorite, Tobey Maguire. We know that Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro, and Alfred Molina is reprising his role as Dr. Otto Octavius, aka Doc Ock. So with all of that being said, I think we're in for something amazing. If the rumors about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are true, then this could be the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time, in my opinion. Next up is the Forever Pudge. This is going to be the fifth and final installment of the Pudge franchise. The first movie was overhyped and just okay at best. The second and third movies were good. The prequel was also pretty nice, the first Pudge. I'm not sure what this movie is going to be about because, you know, the story that they told in the first four movies was pretty much the story they needed to tell. So I wonder how this one's going to play out, and I just love the concept of the Pudge and how they put it to good use. I haven't seen the TV show yet, I probably will at some point, but yeah, this is something that I'm excited for. Next up is the Resident Evil reboot. Now, I'm not really a fan of the Resident Evil games. I've played Biohazard and that's pretty much it. That was a cool game. I've seen the movies and they're okay. The last one was pretty terrible, the final chapter. But this new movie is apparently somewhat of a prequel to the original game. It looks like it's gonna be more faithful to the survival horror roots and, you know, just what the Paul W.S. Anderson movie should have been. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out. And last but definitely not least is The Matrix 4. Now, I'm really excited for this movie because the original was so groundbreaking. The two sequels were decent, they had their fair share of great visuals and action scenes, but not enough substance or philosophical elements to back it up. So I'm hoping this movie will match the originality of the original. If it surpasses it, that'll be a surprise, but it doesn't need to. Lana Wachowski is returning to direct. Lily Wachowski is not being involved. Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss are back. Lawrence Fishburne and Hugo Weaving, however, will not be returning. So, but with all that being said, I'm really excited to see what this movie has to offer, what the visual effects will be like, what the action's gonna look like, and, you know, just how it continues the story of The Matrix. Now, when it comes to TV shows, I'm really looking forward to the last 6 episodes of season 10 of The Walking Dead and the first 8 episodes, I believe, of the final season of The Walking Dead, season 11. There's also the second half of season 6 of Fear the Walking Dead, and season 7 should also be coming out this year. Season 2 of The Walking Dead World Beyond, even though I'm not a big fan of it, I'd like to see where they take the characters in that season. The Mandalorian's 3rd season, as well as the Book of Boba Fett. Jared Padalecki from Supernatural is starring in a reboot of Walker, Texas Ranger, and it's called Walker. I think that'll be interesting as well. Dexter is returning with a limited event miniseries sometime late this year, and I'm hoping that'll be the true ending to the show. And of course, there's the final season of Better Call Saul. I'm not sure when it's being released, but it will probably come around towards the end of the year. Who knows? Music. There's Megadeth's new album coming out this year. Metallica's got a new album. Cannibal Corpse has been working on a new album since June of 2020, and it looks like it's gonna be released sometime this year. There's a band called Carcass. I don't know if I'm gonna start getting into them this year, but if I do, I'll listen to everything leading up to their new album. But yeah, that's all the stuff I'm excited for so far. In terms of literature, Stephen King's new novel, Later, is coming out in March, and I'm really excited for that. Now, that pretty much concludes everything I'm anticipating this year. Now I want to get into my plans for the channel this year. So firstly, I'm going to be doing a Breaking Bad retrospective, starting from probably next week or something like that. And I'm gonna look at all 5 seasons. I'm gonna look at the El Camino movie. Then I'm gonna be looking at the entirety of Better Call Saul, leading up to the release of its final season. And when that final season finishes, I'm gonna rank the entire Breaking Bad franchise. I also plan on making some videos related to all things heavy metal. My favorite bands, my favorite landmark albums, you know, the albums that are important in the industry and in the genre, my favorite genres, and some unpopular opinions and stuff like that. I'll have reviews out for Stephen King's Cell, as well as the movie, the 3rd Dark Tower book, The Wastelands, and a book by Paulo Coelho called The Alchemist. I may have butchered the author's name, I apologize, but yeah, I've heard good things about that book. I'll be doing a Saw retrospective leading up to the release of Spiral. I'm also probably going to finish the Walking Dead comics just before season 11 premieres, so I might have reviews out for every 10 volumes and then rank all of the volumes or something like that. From August to October, more or less, I'll be doing retrospectives on Heroes, Smallville, and Dexter. I might not do all of these, but I will try if I can. And in November, I'm gonna do a retrospective on 24 because the 20th anniversary will be around that time, and I think maybe then we'll get an announcement on the planned reimagining of the franchise that Fox is working on. And then maybe in December, leading up to the release of Scream 5 in January of 2022, I'll do a Scream retrospective. And maybe I'll do a video on my video game collection, just for fun, you know, if I can find time to fit that in there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next time, I think I'm gonna begin my Breaking Bad retrospective with season 1. And one more thing just before we wrap up this video. There are reports of a mysterious illness in India, and it's hospitalized 450 people or more, and it's already taken somebody's life. So hopefully this won't turn into the next pandemic. So thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like the video, share it and subscribe, and hit the notification icon. Be safe during this time. Happy New Year to everybody, and I'll see you soon.